6 million Jews of Europe, and then gone on about their business and their lives. But Israel won the war and defended itself, and of course in the process acquired land. By the way, in every history of war in the world, there are winners and losers, and there are borders that change. We all know that, in every war, including in this part of the world. So our job is to try and capture people's attention and tell them the facts, tell them the truth. And the best way, it's labor intensive. The best way is to take people to Israel. And AJC, for the last 30 years, has been taking thousands and thousands of people. And who are the people?
Leaders.
We take leaders. We take people of influence, people of impact. We take political leaders. We take Christian religious leaders. We take presidents of universities. We take counterterrorism specialists. We take journalists. And you know what happens? Almost inevitably, they arrive in Israel, usually for the very first time. They have been influenced over many years by the media. So they come with all kinds of, let's call them prejudices. And then what do they discover? They discover, number one, Israel is a democracy. They may have heard it, but they never believed it. But they see it. They see it in the press. They see it when they visit the Knesset. They see it in the cafes. Number two, they discover Israel is very small. Somehow their belief that Israel was this powerful country with a strong army led them to believe that Israel was the size of Mexico or Brazil. Instead, they discover a country you can barely find on the map. And then all of a sudden they say, well, wait a second, if it's this small, maybe the answers are not so easy. Because how do you provide security? What does security mean in a country this small, surrounded by Hezbollah in Lebanon, by Syria, which we now see for its true nature, by Hamas in Gaza, by Egypt with the Muslim Brotherhood, by Iran just a short distance away, trying to build missiles with weapons and nuclear weapons? Not so simple, number two. Number three, we thought that Muslims had no rights. We thought that Christians had no rights because we thought this was a theocratic Jewish state.
No.
All of a sudden, it comes Friday, and you hear the calls to prayer of the Muezzin, and all the people going to the mosques in Jaffa and in Haifa and elsewhere in Israel, and even as all of us have seen, taxi drivers stopping their car, putting their prayer rug on the ground, and in the middle of Tel Aviv, saying prayers to Mecca. And no one stops them, no one bothers them, everyone leaves them alone. Number three.
And even more, they have a political party on the Knesset.
And they have several political parties. And number four, extremely important. And this is where I think we need to do a better job, all of us. It's not just about saying we're right and they're wrong, or the history is on our side. Israel adds value to other nations. And at the end of the day, every nation thinks about itself first. So if we're speaking to a government, the most important thing for that government is, what can Israel do for me? And I think the answer is very obvious today. Israel is one of the few countries in the world that, without natural resources, has developed human capital. And that human capital has created a 21st century society built on entrepreneurship, built on innovation, that's on the cutting edge of technology. And those issues are of importance. We visited the countries of Europe recently that are really in trouble, that need to reimagine themselves. Our suggestion to them was, understand how Israel reimagined itself. Without oil, without gas, without silver, without diamonds, without copper, Israel created an advanced society. How did it do it? There are lessons. There are lessons in education. There are lessons in research. There are lessons in development. Israel today can help countries dealing with agricultural challenges, food security, water management, high-tech, nanotechnology, medical advancements. This is what develops Israel's position globally. It's not getting into arguments about the settlements and what happened in 1947 and what happened in 1967. Most people today don't care. I care because it's my history. I care. But I don't expect all world leaders to share my concern. So our goal is to help countries understand what Israel can do for them, practically. And frankly, what Israel can do for them is far more than most countries in the world, including, I assure you, most countries in the Middle East. I'm not certain, forgive me, no disrespect, what Yemen can do, what Syria today can do, other perhaps than teach people how to kill more effectively. But I can tell you what Israel can do. It can tell countries that are having problems with water and food and technology how to deal with those issues successfully. That's the story of Israel in the 21st century, and we, the Friends of Israel, have to tell it better.